Welcome everyone to the Metabolic Masterclass. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. I have never been more excited to present anything literally in my entire career. This body of work is the thing that I'm most proud of ever creating in my career. And I really strongly believe that it's going to deeply impact and change lives. So I'm really, really excited that you're all here tonight to learn about this, because then you can also help others with what I'm going to share as well, which is really exciting. If you feel inspired to, of course, help yourself, but you'll have that opportunity to help others if you feel called to. So I'm going to share my screen and get started with what I want to present to you all. Alrighty. So the well-fed weight loss method. I would love it if you all put your phone on do not disturb or airplane mode and close all other tabs and pay attention to what I'm going to share tonight, because what I'm going to share in this masterclass seriously could absolutely change your life and how you feel every single day. So do that now. And yeah, would love you all to tune in to what I'm going to share. All right, quick disclaimer. The Well-Fed Weight Loss Method, the Live Metabolic Masterclass, is an educational resource intended to provide general information about nutrition, metabolism, lifestyle, and nervous system support. This presentation is not medical advice and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. And the information shared is based on education, research, and personal experience. Individual results will vary depending on many factors, including health history, lifestyle, and consistency. And you should always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making changes to your diet, supplementation, exercise routine, or health practices, especially if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, have a medical condition, or are taking medication. So by hearing this, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own health decisions and outcomes. And the information I'm providing is in good faith to support learning and informed decision making. Welcome to the Well-Fed Weight Loss Method. So my role, I want to be really clear about my role. I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a dietitian or a registered nutritionist. When I was studying nutrition and naturopathy 13 years ago, I looked into dietetics, and their major sources were Kellogg, Nestle, and Unilever, and they were all teaching the food pyramid, which is not something I subscribe to. Medical doctors get around 4 hours of nutrition training, again, based on the food pyramid, which in the US has just been flipped, which is great news. But yeah, I'm not any of those things, and my work sits in a different lane. So I'm translating complex metabolic science into usable principles, identifying patterns that repeatedly show up in real bodies, and questioning systems when outcomes don't match the advice, and helping more people make informed, embodied health decisions. So this is education, not diagnosis, and education is often the missing piece. Excuse me with my voice as well. I had surgery on my throat back in July, and it's kind of still recovering. So I just need to take sips of water, and it's a bit scratchy still. Okay, so why the well-fed weight loss method exists. I created this method after more than a decade of watching the same outdated advice fail people over and over again. It's really been frustrating for me. So when I began studying nutrition and naturopathy 13 years ago, a pattern became impossible to ignore. The advice being promoted didn't match real-world outcomes. Low-fat, highly processed, sugar-heavy foods were being labeled healthy, while rates of metabolic disease, obesity, diabetes, and hormonal dysfunction continued to rise. So the problem wasn't discipline, the problem was biology being ignored. So this is why I question the system. While I was studying, I was so fortunate. My nutrition lecturer was an incredible woman, and she literally taught us what we needed to know to pass the curriculum and what actually supported human health. And they were very different things, right, nutritionally. So what was to pass the curriculum was like mostly grain-based, eat seed oils, eat margarine, and she was teaching to eat real foods, whole foods, and healthy traditional fats. So this questioning led me to challenge dominant dietary narratives publicly, including the Heart Foundation's food endorsements, advice on their website, and their tick of approval program. And a petition I started received 55,000 signatures, including support from doctors, dietitians, and cardiovascular surgeons, and ultimately contributed to changes in public messaging. It used to say on their website things like sugar as a nutrient is only a concern in terms of dental caries, which even 13 years ago is ludicrous with the amount of like science and research that obviously links sugar with type 2 diabetes, with like cancer, with inflammation. Like they literally said it's only a concern in terms of dental caries. Absolutely alarming. They were made to remove that from their website. It used to say on their website, if your kids won't drink full cream milk, give them flavored milk, this kind of rubbish, right? So that all changed. And part of that was through the petition that I created. And I ended up on a current affair, Studio 10, the morning show, Sunrise, ABC Radio National, debating the CEO of the Heart Foundation multiple times. They went through 3 CEOs in the 2 years that I was doing this. So yeah, I actually ran into this guy in Canberra when I was down there for an event. And he came up to me and he was like, no way, you're Jessie Reimers, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, what's up, man? And he said, I just quit my job for the Heart Foundation in the Northern Territory because I could not deal with one more emergency meeting about you. And I started reading your information and realized that you were right. And I couldn't in good conscience continue working for that organization. So I quit my job and moved to Canberra. So that was a cool moment. Anyway, I digress. That experience shaped my work profoundly. And real change only happens when we're willing to question what isn't working. So alongside this advocacy, I was navigating my own very complex health challenges, gut health stuff, autoimmune challenges, cystic acne, constant panic attacks. And I was often told food has nothing to do with your symptoms by doctors. And I was hospitalized many times. And yeah, basically told it was all in my head to take antidepressants and sleeping pills. And yeah, I was not receiving the support I needed through the medical system. And they are incredible at emergency critical care. But when it comes to long-term preventative health, I've found they fall short many times. So it made it clear to me that symptom management alone does not equal long-term health. And so I started studying, I started doing my own research, and I've built a huge body of research over a decade of working in this space. So I want to know from you guys in the chat, have you ever heard this kind of diet dogma from a fitness influencer, from a PT, from a coach? These quotes here are from a fitness influencer on Instagram. It popped up on my newsfeed yesterday. And yeah, I found it really, really concerning, gaslighting, shame-based information. So the first slide is, if you claim to be in a calorie deficit but aren't losing weight, then you're not actually in a calorie deficit. No human on this planet is exempt from the laws of thermodynamics. Let me know if you've heard something like that, where it's like, oh, you must be lying about what you eat. You didn't gain weight because of a hormone imbalance or too much cortisol. You gained weight because you're eating too much and moving too little, period. Right? So no one has hormone imbalances, no one's experiencing too much cortisol. It's just because you're eating too much and you're not moving enough, right? And this one, your metabolism isn't broken. You probably don't have a mystery hormone issue. You're not a victim, you just have bad habits, and blaming everything except yourself is a convenient way to avoid taking responsibility. So it's fully your fault. And just like the shame-based level that goes to. Please let me know in the chat if you've ever been told anything like this. All right, I'm getting a thumbs up. Loud and clear for me. Haha, yes. Eye roll. Jess, yes, I hear this all the time. Christina, yes, heard that for sure. Jackie, wow, that's so shameful. Yeah, it's horrific. I was mortified when I read this. Damo, good to see you, bro. Absolutely. Annette Corbett, whoever wrote that clearly hasn't entered perimenopause yet. Yeah. Jackie, yes, I've heard it. Ryan, standard, unfortunately. Yeah, it's... Deb, I've never heard anything so ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. All right, thanks guys for sharing. Appreciate you all. So this is my reply to that post, right? And I didn't share her name, but this is what I said in response. Actually, eating too little slows down metabolism. downregulates thyroid and does raise cortisol and create imbalanced hormones. The messaging that people just need better discipline and to eat less and move more is incomplete. If their blood glucose is dysregulated, this will also be hugely problematic for fat loss. Elevated cortisol also does play a significant role. Calorie counting works short term, but very often backfires long term, especially for women as they age. And her response actually shocked me because her post was so shame and blame based and so like, this is the only way. I was really pleasantly surprised. She actually said back to me, I appreciate your insight. What do you recommend? And I left a long reply, which I'm going to share through this masterclass. So I won't bother sharing that with you guys. But look, when we actually speak our mind in a loving, calm, like regulated way, some people can actually start to question the narrative and look into things more. So that really excites me because I want to, part of this masterclass and why I'm doing this tonight is to help change this culture, because I'm going to teach some things that maybe some of you don't know tonight. And then hopefully you can retain some of that information. And we're going to record this so you can watch back the replay, because a lot of this will be like shifting decades of dogma that you've been told, right? So it might take a little bit of time to relearn some of these things. But then hopefully you guys can help create shifts in this culture and narrative as well. And that's going to create a ripple effect of massive healing. It's really, really powerful. Elaine says, yes, that response is so the story of Pero-Meno journey, 100%. 100%. So calories, physics, and human bodies. Now, we are going to get a little bit sciencey tonight. Bear with me. I've tried to make it as simple as humanly possible, but it is important to understand this. So let's be clear and accurate. Yes, the laws of thermodynamics apply. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. But here's where that whole thing of calories in, calories out, right, falls short. Because the human body, funnily enough, isn't a calculator. This is why calorie deficits do work short term and so very often do not work long term, because your body is a living system that adapts. So when food feels scarce or your stress is high, your body adjusts. How much energy it burns, how hungry you feel, how much it stores versus releases. This is why just eat less and move more stops working. So calories matter, but they are not the whole story. Here's why calorie counting backfires. Because when someone chronically restricts their food, the body reduces resting metabolic rate, non-exercise activity drops, often unconsciously. So what does that mean? That's like the things that you do around the house or just like little things day to day. If you're chronically underfueling, undereating, your body basically goes into a resting state. You'll find it more difficult to just be generally active. I'm not just talking about going to the gym and physically going for a walk. Just your random activity throughout the day will unconsciously reduce. Thyroid output adapts. Reproductive and stress hormones shift. Hunger signals intensify. So the deficit shrinks over time, not because of dishonesty or lack of discipline, but because the body adapts intelligently. This is not defying physics, this is physiology. So share with me in the chat if you've ever experienced this, where you're doing everything right, where you're eating less and less food. Like most women are actually chronically underfueling their bodies, but your body refuses to lose weight. Basically because chronic underfueling and calorie restriction are perceived by the body biologically as a threat, right? Like literally your body is perceiving famine, starvation, danger, red alert, threat, threat, threat. And so it's going to slow everything down, slow your metabolism down, and actually hold onto fat to protect you from the threat of famine or starvation. Does that make sense? Just going to read the chat. It's why when I did intermittent fasting for so long, my body adapted and I had to keep increasing my fast time to get the same effect over time. 100% Damo. Thanks for sharing, bro. Carmen, is that why I become ravenous after intermittent fasting? I do not feel that intermittent fasting is supportive. It may be for some men in certain situations, but for women, especially just women in general, honestly. Like I'm not a fan of fasting, and I know it's the big trend in the wellness space and it's meant to be amazing, but my opinion based on my research is that it's going to reduce your metabolic rate, dysregulate your hormones, and yeah, then you're starving. And so then like you're probably going to crave more empty, highly processed carbs, potentially sugar. I don't think it's beneficial. I'm going to share what I believe to be far more beneficial, especially for women, than intermittent fasting. But Damo's a man, and even he has said in the chat that his body adapted and he had to keep increasing fast time to get the same effect over time. So, you know, you guys are already showing me what my research is telling me. So if calorie counting truly worked long term, why do so many people lose weight then regain more? Please share with me in the chat if you've ever had that experience, losing weight, regaining the weight, and sometimes even more than what you lost. Let me know if that's happened to you, or if you've just lost weight and then experienced a regain, or have you lost a certain amount of weight and then had a plateau despite doing everything right? Have you ever felt worse the more disciplined you become? Have you ever ended up more inflamed, exhausted, and also food obsessed, right? Like intense cravings, intense sugar cravings, intense highly processed carb cravings. Yeah, I'm going to jump in the chat, see what you guys are saying. Christina, definitely happened to me. Jess, yes, and I put it back on so quickly. Kiri, yep. Carmen, all of the above. This is really validating for me, guys. I'm seeing my research reflected to me in real time because this is a new area that I'm going into. So I'm loving actually having your feedback a lot. Mon, yes, very hard to maintain the lost weight. Elaine, intense sugar cravings indeed. Mandy, yes. Is this like validating for you guys as well? Like that this is not your fault? Like that's what I really want you to understand, is that you've been given incomplete information and this is not your fault. This is biologically normal. Your body is biologically responding to this in a completely normal way and trying to protect you. So I really hope that helps, because it honestly makes me like emotional. It makes me upset that, yeah, what diet culture has done to people, and the shame and blame and, oh, you're just not disciplined enough. You just need to eat less and move more. It hurts me watching that and what that does to people. Jess says, I became so self-conscious about my body afterwards and food obsessed. Yeah, babe, like we're actually living in a time, in a culture where there are many people who would be classified as anorexic or have severe eating disorders that are actually living in overweight bodies because they have chronically underfueled so much that their metabolism is so slow and their hormones are so dysregulated that even though they're barely eating or eating far less than what they actually need to thrive, that they have an eating disorder while living in an overweight body. It's extremely common, and yeah, it really upsets me. So that's one of the reasons I'm working in this area, to change this. So I want to give you guys an example. The Biggest Loser, you know, the reality TV show, this is a prime example of how this backfires. So coaches often shamed contestants. They were fed 1,600 calories a day, sometimes as little as 800 calories a day, often trained 6 to 8 hours a day, often very intense cardio with trainers like screaming at them and shaming them, right? Let me know if you've ever watched this show. So a 2016 Harvard study followed 14 Biggest Loser contestants during and after the show. Contestants lost extreme amounts of weight, often 45 plus kilograms in a short time. By the final weigh-in, leptin levels had plummeted, leaving contestants constantly hungry. Metabolic rate slowed significantly. Thyroid function, which regulates metabolism, was suppressed. And over the following 6 years, most contestants regained much or all of the weight. Their metabolism never fully recovered. The more weight someone lost, the greater the long-term metabolic slowdown. And key point, weight regain wasn't due to a lack of discipline. It was a predictable biological response to extreme restriction and over-exercise. So their bodies intelligently adapted to try and protect them and to survive famine. So let's also talk about Ozempic and GLP-1 drugs, because this is a massive trend right now. There's already over 500,000 Australians using drugs like this. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, they've exploded in popularity globally. Celebrities everywhere are using these. It's really, really intense, this culture right now. So it's important to understand how they work and the dangers and how they can backfire. So the makers of Ozempic are currently facing an estimated $2 billion lawsuit due to their failure to warn people about the potential risks of taking the medication. 1,800 people have become permanently blind. Wasting muscles is a very common side effect, as well as bowel obstruction, organ failure, and even death. Weight loss on GLP drugs happens primarily because they strongly suppress appetite, reduce food reward and interest. They slow digestion and stomach emptying, increasing fullness, which means you have food rotting in your stomach. They reduce overall food intake, so it's a pharmaceutical calorie restriction. And people lose weight because they eat less. Key point, not because metabolism improves. So again, this is a pharmaceutical calorie deficit. So what GLP drugs like Ozempic do not fix? They do not repair metabolic damage, restore thyroid output, rebuild lean muscle. They do not increase resting metabolic rate. They do not heal leptin signaling. They do not address nervous system stress, and they do not result root causes of insulin resistance. They override appetite, they don't heal the system. And a new study shows that once people come off weight loss medication, they are often putting the weight back on 4 times faster than normal. So when the drug is stopped, hunger signaling returns, digestion normalizes, appetite rebounds, but here's the key, metabolic adaptation remains, right? So their metabolism has significantly slowed down, but everything else returns. So then when they eat, because their metabolism's so slow, they put on weight 4 times faster. Is it viable to be on something like Ozempic or Wegovy or Mounjaro for the rest of your life? My opinion, absolutely hell to the no. The side effects are horrendous. And like the nutrient depletion off the back of eating that little food long term, just alarming. Not to mention the muscle wasting, which is the most common side effect. I'm going to teach you guys much more about why muscle is so important. But yeah, like I'm distressed and disturbed by the use of these drugs. And now let's talk about skinny obsessed culture. So we live in a culture obsessed with being skinny, often over being healthy, strong, or well, right? So smaller bodies are praised as disciplined, virtuous, successful. Weight loss is celebrated no matter how it's achieved, what it costs, or whether it's sustainable. Just going to jump in the chat again. Damo, 500,000. Wow. Yep. 500,000, bro. Annette, my GF is using Ozempic and now has her mum on it, and I've been trying to kindly tell her that it's so bad for her health overall, but she would rather be skinny. Yeah, that's what distresses me the most. This is what I'm talking to you right now. This culture obsessed with being skinny, often over being healthy, strong, or well. I mean, all you can do is live by example, continue trying to share information with her, and I mean, pray, honestly. Deb, I was talking to someone the other day who is now taking Mounjaro. I was telling him about the lawsuits against Ozempic. He said his body was already fucked, so he was okay with it. So sad. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. But potentially through this education, through the information, like education is power, right? So you guys can learn, and maybe some of these people will be open to shifting into what I'm going to talk about tonight, right? The more you're educated, the more you can help others. And not everyone's going to want your help. And it's just like making peace with that, as hard as that is. Mandy, everyone I know is talking about this drug and half of them using it. Yep. Guy at work said it slowed his metabolism rate because his muscles wasted away. Carmen, yep, just proving what I'm talking about. Thank you guys for sharing as well. I really appreciate your input into this conversation. It's great to engage with you. So if you felt pressure to shrink yourself, to take up less space, you didn't imagine that, you didn't invent it. And honestly, I think it's by design. They want us weak, sick, skinny, frail. Strong, vibrantly healthy humans are more difficult to control, right? So when skinny is the main goal, when the number on the scale is the main goal, hunger is ignored, fatigue is overridden, appetite is suppressed, anxiety is normalized, And even when weight loss comes with exhaustion, hair loss, hormone disruption, and muscle loss, a smaller body that is weaker, more depleted, and less resilient is not a healthier body, even if society applauds it. So I want you to know right now that you didn't fail. Diet culture failed you. Decades of diet culture comes with a real psychological cost. And this can look like constant self-monitoring, fear of eating too much, anxiety around hunger, guilt after meals, mistrust of your body, believing your worth is tied to the scale. And if this resonates, I want you to hear this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. Your body adapted to pressure. And I also want you to know that you're safe here. And what I'm sharing is not about punishment, control, or shrinking. And I also just want a presence. If you guys are feeling emotional, if I'm feeling emotional, that is also welcome. Yeah, it's devastating. But I believe in our power as humans to heal, to overcome things like this. And for me, like I've battled with eating disorder myself. I was in a relationship with a man who had smaller legs than me, for example, and constantly fat shamed women. And I remember going to Pilates and I stopped going because my legs were getting bigger because they were getting fucking stronger and more muscular. And I stopped going. Yeah, and I've had periods of binge eating and definitely underfueled my body most of my life. So yeah, I'm there with you. I feel the pain of this, and my attitude to life, like one of my core identities and reasons for being here is so that I can walk through the fire of painful, challenging things, carrying buckets of water to help others, to help put others out through what I learn, right? So yeah, just know that your emotion is welcome, you're safe, and I see you in this. It's challenging stuff. So a new goal, we're going to rewrite the rules together. You're welcome, Mandy. I appreciate you. We're rewriting the rules. The goal is not to disappear. The goal is to build a body that is strong, nourished, resilient, metabolically healthy, capable of living a full, independent life, and a body that can lift, carry, recover, play, laugh, experience joy and pleasure, age well, live independently long term, and feel safe enough to let go of excess fat without being forced and without sacrificing muscle. Skinny is a trend. Strength, nourishment, and capability are timeless. So if your goal is to be as small as possible, no matter the cost, this won't resonate. But if you're open to building a body that can carry you through life, you're exactly where you need to be. Let me know in the chat if you're open to building a body that can carry you through life, that experiences all the things that I mentioned, that allows you to live independently long term, that is strong and resilient. I'd love to hear if you guys are open to that. Carmen, I don't want to be skinny. I just don't want to be obese anymore because that's putting me at a lot of risk for chronic illness. Absolutely, Carmen. We're going to talk about how we can sustainably lose fat and body recomposition. So we're gaining muscle, not just losing weight at all costs, right? That's not what we're here for. But we absolutely can lose fat and build strong, resilient bodies. Christina says, absolutely. Jess, yes, definitely. Jackie, long, strong, independent life. Jess, strong arm. Kiri, I'm definitely open to it. Nothing better than a body that works how it's supposed to. I need to lose weight, but I want to do it healthy. 100%. I'm going to teach you guys how we can lose fat and gain muscle, which is not the same thing as losing weight overall, right? Because muscle weighs more than fat. So, Ryan, a strong nutrient-dense rhino, 100%. Damo, the rhino diet. Fuck yeah, guys. Mandy, strong, healthy body and mind. I love that you guys are open to this, and I'm going to teach you the well-fed weight loss method. But first, different tool, same biology, right? This mirrors what we see with long-term calorie counting restriction, biggest loser outcomes, underfueling and excessive cardio. Different tool, same biology. So appetite suppression is not metabolic healing. Biology always remembers chronic restriction leads to blood sugar instability, cortisol elevation, muscle loss, hormonal chaos, metabolic slowdown. You don't become undisciplined, your body becomes protective. So I want to show you guys some different models. Here's why current weight loss advice fails long term. We've got calorie restriction, Ozempic. We could put weight loss surgery up here too. Short-term weight loss, loss of muscle, slower metabolism, hormonal adaptation, increased hunger, decreased satiety, your fullness hormone, high cortisol, your stress hormone, weight regain, when calorie restriction eases or stop taking GLP-1. Fat loss is harder even when eating less. Now, we have the well-fed weight loss method for long-term sustainable fat loss over here. Adequate energy intake, no undereating, balanced meals, focus on protein, traditional fats, and whole food carbs. Blood glucose regulation, massive. I'll teach you why and how. Lower cortisol and nervous system safety, increased satiety and reduced hunger, muscle preservation and strength building, sustainable long-term fat loss that's easier to maintain without chronic restriction. Does that sound like a model that you guys could get around? Let me know. So what does work long-term? Let's break this down even further. Calorie counting, excessive cardio, weight loss drugs, weight loss surgery all work short-term, but backfire long-term. What actually works for sustainable fat loss long-term? Eating enough 3 times a day prevents metabolic slowdown and signals safety to your body, which is crucial. An unsafe body is going to hold onto weight as protection. Stable blood glucose, critical, critical, critical. We're going to dive deep into that. This reduces insulin spikes, cravings, and fat storage signals. Adequate protein, critical, preserves muscle, increase satiety, like feeling full, supports metabolic rate. Muscle and strength training, critical. Muscle is your metabolic engine. Daily walking supports fat loss without triggering stress hormones. Nervous system regulation, chronic stress blocks fat loss via elevated cortisol. Sufficient sleep, poor sleep increases hunger hormones and insulin resistance. And time. Sustainable fat loss happens gradually as regulation is restored. So we're not aiming to drop 20 kilos in a couple months. That is not sustainable. We're going for sustainable fat loss and body recomposition over time. So let's talk about blood glucose, because this is critical to literally everything, how you look and feel every single day. So did you know that your body only burns fat when it senses insulin levels dropping? Did you guys know that? Your body will literally only burn fat when it senses insulin levels dropping. So therefore, regulating your blood glucose is absolutely critical for fat loss. This key, blood glucose regulation, is literally my biggest focus for my health in 2026, because it has such a massive influence on how we look and feel every single day. Most people don't bother thinking about their blood glucose until they've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. But the fact is, up to 60 to 70% of adults in developed nations have some degree of metabolic dysfunction long before diabetes is diagnosed. Did you also know that blood sugar dysregulation is a major driver of biological aging? It can impact your mood, your sleep, your weight, your behavior, your appetite, your focus, your hormones, memory and energy levels, and long-term it can lead to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is now known in many circles as type 3 diabetes. And did you guys know that it's also, blood glucose regulation is also the #1 key to balanced hormones, which is wild. I had no idea, right? Yeah. Mandy has shock face, so I'm assuming that some of you guys didn't potentially know how critical blood glucose regulation is. Potentially have never been told. Potentially don't worry about it unless you've got type 2 diabetes, right? It's critical. So let's talk about hormones. Blood sugar and insulin. Did you know that insulin is also a hormone? Challenges are key factors that contribute to major metabolic and hormonal imbalances. Because insulin is a major hormone, it is impossible for the body to balance its minor hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, for example, until insulin metabolism is balanced first. So when blood sugar crashes after a peak, cortisol, which is another hormone, our stress hormone, rises. And cortisol is not a problem normally. However, if we are chronically stressed or our blood sugar is frequently dysregulated, cortisol levels will become too high. High cortisol levels increase estrogen, which increases likelihood of symptoms of weight gain, potentially weight loss, acne, low mood, pain, poor sleep, low libido, low energy, poor mental function. Let me know if you guys have experienced any of these symptoms or a bunch of these symptoms and feel like maybe blood sugar regulation is something that you need to pay more attention to. So the hormones estrogen and insulin are very closely connected. This is why we see hormonal imbalances and erratic blood sugar levels. They're often seen together. Is this blowing some of your minds, like the link with, Jess, I experienced all of this. Yeah. Jackie, yes, especially through peri and menopause, 100%, right? I'm about to talk about that actually right now. Perimenopause and menopause. So if you're in perimenopause or menopause and thinking, my body just doesn't respond the way it used to, you're not broken. Hormonal shifts during this transition make the body more sensitive to stress, blood sugar swings, and poor sleep. When cortisol and blood glucose are dysregulated, you can experience symptoms like hot flushes, night sweats, poor sleep, anxiety or irritability, fat gain around the middle. This is why regulation matters more than restriction at this stage of life. So what supports this transition? Stable blood glucose, regular meals, enough protein, no grazing all day, muscle, building muscle to support insulin sensitivity, and nervous system regulation and sleep support. This will benefit everyone. It's especially important during perimenopause and menopause. So Calorie Calm is incredible. Let me know if you guys have used this blend in the chat. It's amazing. It supports nervous system regulation via the olfactory limbic pathway. The olfactory system, your limbic system is your emotional center of your brain. So when you breathe this in, it helps calm stress and emotional reactivity. It reduces your desire to lash out when someone is breathing or chewing in an annoying manner. Reduces PMS, eases period pain in menstruating women, but also for perimenopausal, menopausal women, it may reduce hot flushes and night sweats by supporting stress pathways linked to temperature regulation. It helps lower cortisol signaling by encouraging a shift out of fight or flight. It supports emotional balance during hormonal fluctuations. It may improve sleep quality, which is critical for cortisol and metabolic health. And it works best alongside blood glucose regulation, nourishment, and rest. Mandy, yes, I have. Love it. Annette, I have most of these symptoms and know I'm going through changes with peri. Annette, I need this in my life. Yeah, it's lit. It's amazing. Mandy, I used to put it on my belly during menstruation. Carmen, that made me laugh, lashing out when someone is breathing, like fully resonate with that one, hey? BP support as well. Do you want to clarify what you mean by that, Jackie? Sonia, I knew hormones and glucose regulating were connected as I'm seeing a functional GP and she's all over it. However, I always thought low estrogen was a cause for glucose resistance, but sounds a bit chicken and egg, the insulin glucose affecting the estrogen. Yeah, it's like it's a vicious cycle, basically. You know, dysregulated blood glucose negatively affect hormones, which will negatively affect, it's a full vicious cycle. So heart health, yes, 100%. Let me know. Blood glucose regulation is critical for heart health, but let me know if you have any other tips on that, Jackie. So let's talk about muscle. I literally thought being strong was just like, oh, you can lift heavy things and you look muscly. Muscle is crucial. Did you know muscle is your body's primary blood sugar regulator? So when you build muscle, you create more space to store glucose safely. That means lower insulin, fewer crashes, fewer cravings, and easier fat loss, especially as hormones shift in menopause. This is why the diet advice of like eat very little food and freaking take his Ozempic and waste your muscles is horrific, right? because muscle is literally your metabolic engine. It's your organ of longevity. So it's also your number one predictor to living independently as you age. If you're frail and skinny and weak, you'll break your bones and enter aged care potentially 10 years earlier, or just die, because once you break a hip, you know, like, best of luck to you. And muscles protect your bones. It's also your hormone protector. After menopause, muscle becomes one of the strongest predictors of health, mobility, and longevity. Building muscle now is an investment in how you'll live, not just how you look. So I've always been terrified of the gym. I've gone to Pilates on and off for like 10 years. But Ryan has got me going to BFT in Robina and lifting weights, and it is not that scary. They're super supportive. They're all about like function and form, so you don't injure yourself. There's people from all walks of life. They're all shapes and sizes, all bodies, and everyone is in there getting strong. I find it really inspiring, and I feel so much better, like, mentally, not just physically, but mentally, when I go to the gym and I lift weights. Also, a note on doing too much cardio. Like, a lot of this, you know, get on the treadmill, run, and like do intense cardio for fat loss actually massively backfires as well. A little bit of cardio, great. Intense cardio every single day as punishment, extremely sub-ideal for cortisol, and actually for fat loss long term, backfires hard. Like I mentioned on The Biggest Loser, like, yeah, recipe for disaster. So some cardio, great. Focus on strength, building muscle, and things like walking. BFT is nationwide, Ryan says, designed for everyone, any age, every fitness level. Jackie says, wow, it's in my suburb. Highly recommend checking it out. It's so amazing. The trainers are like incredible. It's such an amazing environment. So good. So walking. Personally, it does not excite me when fitness influencers scream about getting in 20,000 steps every day. I find it off-putting, if anything. Let me know in the chat if you feel the same way. Maybe you don't. However, walking is criminally underrated. Even just 10 minutes after meals, 20 to 30 is even better. But even just 10 minutes after meals is one of the highest ROI habits for blood sugar, fat loss, and nervous system health. So remember that your body only burns fat when insulin is low. Walking also regulates the nervous system, lowers cortisol, signals safety to the brain, and improves digestion and reduces stress eating and cravings. This is huge, especially for perimenopause, menopause, burnout, cortisol-driven fat storage. So yeah, 10-minute walk after meals, 20 to 30 even better. But is that something you can do? Just like walking around the block, walking around your suburb, going for a walk on the beach if you live near the beach, or yeah, just a 10-minute walk is going to do so much for your blood sugar regulation. It's incredible. All right, let's talk about MetaPower Advantage. This is my favorite product that doTERRA have ever released in history. And that's saying something, because like I love the essential oils and I'm obsessed with them, but this product changed my life. It's my non-negotiable. I take it every single day. It's designed to support the foundations of metabolic health. So lean muscle mass, it literally helps you build lean muscle mass, connective tissue, cellular energy, and blood glucose regulation. All of these things are really critical for fat loss and building a powerful metabolic system that actually works for you. So it contains hydrolyzed marine collagen. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body, and it's a critical building block for muscle, which you just learned is absolutely crucial, your biggest blood sugar regulator, and connective tissue, joints, tendons, and ligaments, skin, hair, nails, and gut lining. As we age, and especially after years of dieting, collagen production and tissue repair decline. So adequate collagen intake supports structural strength and resilience, which are essential for building a strong, functional body. So most collagen products on the market contain 1 or 2 types and are not bioavailable. So you're wasting your money. Ours contains 9 types of highly bioavailable and sustainably sourced marine collagen. And it's also intelligently paired with liposomal vitamin C to support collagen synthesis. The research that goes into doTERRA's supplements is insane. Like everything they create, they think about, okay, how's this product actually going to be bioavailable and work in the body? It's incredible, right? So it's not just collagen, it also contains natural precursors to NAD+, which is a coenzyme required for cellular energy production, mitochondrial function, which is mitochondria is the energy powerhouse of your cells, and metabolic efficiency. So as we age, our NAD goes down and down and down, right? And taking this supplement, which has a natural precursor to your body producing more of it, means that you're going to have more actual cellular energy. So if you're struggling with fatigue, with brain fog, and you're like surviving on caffeine, which that doesn't actually give you energy, it just like stops the thing that tells you you're tired and then shunts your adrenals later. This product is life-changing. So a healthy metabolism happens at the cellular level. When our cells produce energy efficiently, the body's better able to regulate blood glucose, which you've just learned is crucial to fat loss. Your body will not burn fat unless it's regulated, recover from stress, and build lean tissue, lean muscle mass. Again, your body's blood glucose regulator and number one predictor to living independently as you age. So we intelligently paired the precursors such as NMN, studied to help repair DNA and biologically reverse your age. I know that sounds insane, but that's literally what this does, with resveratrol, because this activates anti-aging genes, and compounds like C buckthorn to bring down inflammation, which is really, really crucial as well. So MetaPower Advantage also includes targeted botanical compounds such as grapefruit and cinnamon to support blood glucose regulation, as well as gentian root for digestion and I can't even say the word digestion because I say digestion so much in my career, the essential oil blend for your gut, and gut lining integrity. So since taking this, I've been taking this since October 2021. I got COVID in January 2021 and was just really like it brought a dark cloud over me getting COVID, right? And I started to get sick every couple of weeks. For the first time in 10 years, like I had become so healthy through all of the whole foods I was eating and through using essential oils and getting rid of all the toxic household and personal care products, replacing them with doTERRA products. And then when I got COVID, I was getting sick every few weeks. I was experiencing very severe post-viral fatigue. I'm talking, I'd get up to make a smoothie and have to lie down again, had severe brain fog. And within 7 days of taking MetaPower Advantage, I had full energy back in my system, like life force, vitality, brain fog lifted, could show up for my life again, for my business again. Yeah, just, it was incredible. I lost belly fat. I gained lean muscle. I had energy and joy. Like I felt my joy come back. That dark cloud lifted. My hair got thicker and stronger and started growing much more quickly. And my nails, I've never had strong nails in my life. They were always flimsy and bent. And now I have to file them back constantly, and they're so pretty and long. I love my nails. My joints aren't sore. The pain that I had in my neck and my mid-back that I'd had for 15 years disappeared, and I feel stronger and more resilient in my body without restriction. It's a freaking amazing product. Absolutely obsessed. So we want to focus on becoming nutrient seekers, not calorie avoiders. So seeking nutrients over avoiding calories, right? Eat enough, eat real meals, stop grazing. Blood sugar and insulin are meant to rise and fall. Fat loss only happens when insulin comes back down. And 3 balanced meals creates smaller glucose spikes, lower insulin overall, more time in fat burning mode. Balanced meals equals stable blood sugar. So pairing protein, really, really crucial that we have protein, carbs from whole food sources like sweet potato, white rice. Brown rice is hard to digest and tastes friggin' awful. So white rice is epic. Healthy fats like natural fats, butter, ghee. I use tallow. Everything tastes friggin' delicious in tallow and duck fat. Coconut oil, avocados, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, which shouldn't be used on a high heat, but avoid seed oils and margarine and Nuttelex like the plague. That shit is terrible for you. And fiber, again, and fruit is fine, guys. You do not need to panic about eating fruit. So amazing for you. I love starting my day with fruit actually, and then eating protein, fats, carbs. This will slow digestion, reduce, again, I can't say that word, reduce spikes and crashes, keep energy steady for hours. And bottom line, your body handles food best when meals are predictable and complete. You'll be fuller for much longer as well. You won't crave so much, especially when you get enough protein and eat enough food. So I want to speak to nutrients, minerals, and fat loss as well. Your body requires nutrients to actually burn fat. Again, why calorie restriction long term is so alarming. Minerals are essential for energy production, your mitochondria, your thyroid function, blood glucose regulation, nervous system balance, hormone signaling. Do you see how like diet culture just absolutely screws you over long term? Just like creates so much imbalance in your body. When minerals are low, the body perceives stress, not safety, and stress bodies don't prioritize fat loss. So electrolytes matter more than most people realize. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and chloride are needed for cellular energy, muscle function, hydration at a cellular level, stable blood sugar, and lowering cortisol signaling. So just drinking like liters and liters of water a day without electrolytes honestly won't hydrate you that much, which I know is annoying, but here we are. You can put some Celtic sea salt in and some lemon, but I'm obsessed with our electrolytes because they just take it to the next level. They have 74 deep sea minerals in them. They help replenish key electrolytes and minerals that modern diet, stress, sweating, caffeine, and undereating deplete. It supports cellular hydration. There's this really cool ingredient in these, and it's from the baobab tree. You guys know those big, thick trees? They hold a lot of water in their trunk. They're really beautiful. They're like out in the desert. They have one at Pack Fair for the Gold Coasters, that massive, stunning tree with its thick trunk. It's so beautiful. That actually helps the hydration enter your cells. So you're hydrated on a cellular level. This is going to help with energy without stimulation as well, nervous system regulation, exercise recovery, metabolic function. This is not about pushing harder. It's about giving your body what it needs to work properly. So there's two flavors. There's lemon lime flavor. There's a wild strawberry flavor. I personally am a wild strawberry girl. This is how I use it. I get a glass of spring water. I don't like drinking tap water because it's got fluoride and fucking chlorine and stuff in it. So I get a glass, always use glass, don't use plastic. And I put my Metapower Advantage, the collagen one in, and my wild strawberry electrolytes in. And I use one of those little stick frothers. And I drink this every single day. It is my non-negotiable. ROI, return on investment. Deb likes the taste of brown rice. Good for you, Deb. I hate it. I'm just scrolling back up. Damo. I read an article recently that mentioned how imposter syndrome is basically just inexperience. So if the gym feels scary, the best way to feel like a gym goer is to just go. It's scary at first, but if you know it's going to be, then you're already mentally ready. I love that, Damo. I was always so scared of the gym, and it's actually so friendly and so fun. Obviously, you got to find the right gym. So if you go to one and it's like shit and not a vibe, find a different one and maybe buddy up with a friend, an accountability buddy. Like I love going to gym with Ryan. I'm the weakest person at that gym, I reckon. I said that to the trainer the other day. Like especially next to Ryan, who's literally a rhinoceros and lifting like insanely heavy weights, I'm like on the 6 kilos fucking suffering, like struggling to get it up. Because I also had surgery last year. I was so allergic to the pain meds. I was eating literally like half a banana a day for ages, vomiting constantly. I lost 10 kilos and my muscles were wasted off my body. So I'm rebuilding from like the weakest position I've been in 10 years. And I said to the trainer yesterday, I'm the weakest person in this gym. And he said, Jessie, you're on your strength and health journey. And that's something to be really, really proud of. Like I was feeling, embarrassed or ashamed in a moment. And he just like built me back up. They're always helping me with form. And I've done deadlifts, right, with the bar and like little wooden things on them. I couldn't even do a weight. That's how much my muscles wasted from that experience last year. And it's like, cool, yeah, I'm starting from there's other people that have started with the wooden things. They're in the gym for a reason, right? So Damo says, but any exercise is better than none. Walking is seriously so good. Jackie says, walk and talk, best catch up time with friends, 100%. Christina, having a dog so helps me walk every day. I love that. Carmen, same here. The guilt gets to me. I never felt like walking does much, but after doing 25,000 steps a day in Japan, I certainly learned that my body can lose weight just doing walking, but also their food is cleaner. Japan have such beautiful food. Obsessed. That's a lot of steps. Well done, Carmen. That's amazing. Jackie, in real life or on the phone, I book my talk sessions 100%. Like, you can be walking and on the phone, like, get some wired headphones so you don't have to hold your phone to your ear and don't use AirPods, but have some wired headphones. You can listen to a podcast, you can listen to a book, you can listen to nature and not have any headphones in. You can be on the phone, like, doing business stuff while you're walking. Sometimes I even just walk around the backyard while I'm voice noting, just like laps of the backyard, barefoot so my feet are on the earth. Deb says, I've started doing mobility training. Interestingly, it's all about developing nervous system safety by building muscle and joint stability, allowing the nervous system to trust and therefore releasing tightness. Such a similar idea to what we're talking about. I love that, mobility training. I'm going to have to look into that more. Thanks, Deb. Ryan says organic products past raise when possible, 100%. ROI is return on investment. Damo, if you're ever wondering about these levels in your body, never feel bad about getting a blood test. I had no idea I was low on iron until I got one, and I still eat a lot of meat. 100%. I would say go to someone functional, because a lot of what they tell you is like in the normal range is in the depleted as hell range. So like, find a nutritionist, find someone functional, find someone that actually understands so that you can get a good idea, because otherwise they'll just be like, everything's fine. And it's like, maybe, based on your sub-ideal standards. Ryan says also drinking spring water. If you're in Victoria, Orlando spring water deliver 100%. Spring water changed my life. Kiri, I don't do tap water. It tastes super funky. Carmen, what about boot camps that combine cardio and strength? Is that too intense? I mean, listen to your body. I would say if you've been chronically underfueled for a long time, if you're in burnout, if you feel very dysregulated, if your nervous system is suffering, it's not a place where I'm like, I wouldn't do a boot camp right now. I'm recovering from burnout. I'm recovering from surgery. I'm recovering from the hardest 18 months of my entire life. But maybe you're in a stronger, more resilient space and some cardio is good. I would just also feel into it. If it's not working for you, stop. Go back to strength training and walking. But yeah, feel into your body. Like, for a more resilient, like vibrant person that's not in the same position as me, it could be great. I just would not overdo cardio like every day and use it as punishment. If it feels joyful, if it feels aligned, like, start trusting and listening to your body and what feels good for you. Jackie, when I started back at the gym, I was the weakest and the youngest. Haha, love that, Jackie. Deb, I'm not drinking water now without anything in it, as I started to get really consistent cramps. Brisbane humidity sucks. Got some really good salt and now electrolytes too. After about 4 weeks, the cramps are almost gone. Yeah, electrolytes make a huge, huge difference. Ryan says, BFT have created a system that works for our human body, structured to work for us. I think that's everything. Amazing. Thanks for all your input, everyone. Carmen says, great response, not vibrant and nervous system dysregulated, so we'll pass on boot camps. Yeah, look, if you're feeling that way, again, just like listen to what your body needs. But for me and my dysregulation, focusing on strength training, building muscle, going to the gym 3 times a week to do like functional lifting weights and walking daily. I also love to dance. Like, what movement brings you joy, you know? Like, I love dancing, I love playing, I love swimming in the ocean. Do the things that are going to bring you joy instead of like, I got to do this fucking movement to punish my body. No, we're going to like step into joy and creating resilient bodies that are thriving. So this is really important. Stop grazing and underfueling. Grazing keeps the body in storage mode. Constant eating equals insulin stays elevated. Fat burning never fully turns on. Hunger signals become dysregulated. Under-eating drives food noise. And when the body isn't adequately fueled, cortisol rises, cravings for sugar and refined carbs increase, food obsession or food noise appears. Eating enough creates safety. So having adequate meals calms the nervous system, lowers cortisol, stabilizes blood sugar, reduce cravings naturally. And as Ryan said, focus on organic, focus on grass-fed finish where you can, focus on like whole foods, just foods that come from the ground, move around. Yeah, things that are found in nature. So bottom line, cravings are often a sign of underfueling, not a lack of willpower. And like for desserts and stuff, it doesn't mean you have to enjoy no sweetness ever. I love fruits. I love raw honey is actually incredible as a dessert. It actually helps you sleep and is really supportive. Things like dates with a slice of butter or macadamia nut butter and flaky sea salt, so yummy, sweet, delicious, like quality chocolate. And if you have it after a full meal of protein, fat, carbs, your blood sugar is going to be less dysregulated. And like things like birthday parties and celebrations, yeah, have a piece of cake. Like I bake cakes with whole organic flour, real butter, real sugar. And when they're baked with love and they actually have like fat and real ingredients in them, they're going to affect you less. So this isn't about like perfectionism. We don't need more restriction and control. It's about like crowding out processed foods and sugar, which you'll crave less when you're fueling your body appropriately. So your body doesn't need more restriction and control. It needs to feel safe. That's when it lets go of the weight. So Metapower Assist, there is one natural supplement that's been studied to be extremely effective in improving blood glucose levels and supporting weight loss. It's called berberine. A 2020 study showed that berberine has excellent potential as an anti-obesity agent, given its ability to curb cravings. And even if you're eating meals with plenty of carbs, taking berberine 15 to 30 minutes before your biggest or carb heaviest meal will mean you won't experience extreme hunger and cravings that come with blood sugar highs and lows. Another review of 12 studies found that supplementing with berberine led to significant reductions in body weight, specifically belly fat. And it appears that berberine actually stops the growth of fat cells at the molecular level, promoting weight loss. This supplement is incredible. So our Metapower Assist capsules not only contain berberine, but they also contain mulberry leaf extract, or DNJ, and cinnamon bark, both of which are widely known to help regulate blood glucose and support a healthy, functioning metabolism, deeply supporting you to lose weight naturally. So this graph here shows you the difference with assist and without assist. And as you can see, it makes a massive difference to creating a gentle wave of blood glucose. Then we've got the Metapower oil and beadlets. These have been developed with doTERRA clinical researchers, and it's a blend of grapefruit, lemon, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon bark essential oils. You can take a drop or two in a glass of water between meals, and this can support a healthy, functioning metabolism, balance your blood glucose, help suppress appetite between meals so you're not having those intense cravings, and it enhances exercise performance. So our Metapower oil actually also decreases, literally shrinks the size of your fat cells, and rapidly too. Did you know that your fat cells store toxins in your body? So this blend helps your body naturally release the toxins so your body feels safe to lose weight. This is why it's also really critical to stop using things like deodorant, perfume, cologne, toxic household and cleaning products, toxic makeup. I just replace all of that stuff. Like I use doTERRA deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, the XA skincare range, all of the doTERRA cleaning products, laundry liquid, detergent, so I don't have toxins building up and storing in my body, right? So the best way to use it is to take 2 drops in a large glass of water or in your water bottle. Always make sure you use glass or stainless steel, not plastic, or pop a beadlet on the go. So the beadlets are the essential blend in a little seaweed capsule. You can also use this topically as you dry body brush to decrease the appearance of cellulite. Really, really amazing blend. So let's talk about alcohol. Alcohol blocks fat loss. It's a toxin, not a nutrient, and your liver must process it before anything else. So while alcohol is being metabolized, fat burning is completely switched off, fat is shunted into storage, blood glucose regulation worsens. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud. Alcohol massively dysregulates your blood glucose, like horrifically. It promotes visceral belly fat It's especially damaging in perimenopause and menopause, and it disrupts your recovery, sleep, and hormones. It raises cortisol, suppresses deep sleep, blunts muscle recovery, interferes with estrogen metabolism. That's why I like men that drink lots of beer have man boobs, because of all the estrogen. Increases inflammation and oxidative stress. And a lot of us were told, right, that a glass of wine is good for you. That is BS from the alcohol marketing industry. Resveratrol benefits were observed in isolation. The dose in wine is negligible. Alcohol itself is pro-inflammatory, neurotoxic, and carcinogenic. Any tiny polyphenol benefit is cancelled out by ethanol. If you want resveratrol, eat berries or drink your Metapower Advantage, because as I mentioned, it intelligently pairs the NAD precursors with resveratrol. So then you're getting it without all of these negative side effects. You can train well, eat well, and still stall if drinking alcohol. All right, creating safety and trust. This is a really, really important component that is many times ignored, right? Or just not spoken about. So for many people, holding fat is not a failure, it's a protective response. When the body has experienced trauma, abuse, or prolonged stress, it may hold weight as a form of safety, armor, or buffering. This is intelligent biology, not something to fight against. Cortisol isn't the enemy, it's a survival hormone designed to keep you safe. The issue isn't having cortisol, it's living in a body that never feels safe enough to let it come down. Like, cortisol is a natural response, we're supposed to have it. But true healing and sustainable fat loss happens when the body learns, I'm safe now, I don't need to protect anymore. So here are some ways you can rebuild safety and trust in your body. Bare feet on the earth. This is how Ryan and I start our day every morning. Bare feet on the earth, looking into the sun, getting that sun on our skin. We do some qigong, like some gentle tapping of our kidneys and like moving side to side while we tap. It's a really, really epic way to start the day because it's going to reset your circadian rhythm and get your cortisol rhythm in alignment for the day. Gentle movement, walking and stretching, singing, humming, laughing, dancing, play, creativity, connection, pleasure, rest. Like, these are not just some woo-woo stuff that we can kind of ignore. These are crucial things. And tapping EFT is an amazing tool for releasing this. Some of you were on a call that we had yesterday morning with Brad Yates. He's a world-renowned tapping expert, and he has so many free videos on his YouTube channel. And this one here is absolutely incredible. It's called Needing Extra Weight for Protection, Not Safe to Lose It. So if you jump on his YouTube channel, highly recommend doing his tapping daily to deal with this side of things. Because if your body doesn't feel safe, your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it doesn't really matter like what you eat and how you move. If there's a lack of safety in your nervous system and if your body is still holding that weight as protection. Lowering cortisol isn't about doing more. It's about teaching your nervous system that you are safe, resourced, and not under constant threat. Quality sleep is non-negotiable. Sleep deprivation is one of the strongest cortisol drivers. 8 to even 10 hours per night for women especially. As I mentioned, morning sunlight, feet on the earth. No screens 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Dark, cool room, consistent bedtime and wake up time, like going to bed earlier. If sleep improves, cortisol often drops automatically. So if any of you struggle with sleep, I've got a few tools that I have found incredibly supportive. I had shocking insomnia. I'm talking an hour and a half to 2 hours sleep a night with just like the hell on earth I went through the last 18 months. And Copaiba, I wasn't using this for some ridiculous reason. Like, I don't know why. Sometimes you just forget about the tools. I didn't even really understand how good this tool is for sleep until recently, and it's changed my life. I'm finally sleeping, and if I wake up, I go straight back to sleep. So Copaiba supports calm without switching you off. It works primarily through the endocannabinoid system, especially CB2 receptors, which help regulate stress responses, inflammation, nervous system balance, emotional regulation. And rather than sedating you, copaiba helps the body move out of fight or flight and back into a state of safety, presence, and regulation. This is why it can lower stress reactivity and cortisol signaling, support deeper, more settled sleep, help you fall back asleep if you wake, promote calm, focus, and mental clarity during the day. I use 2 to 3 drops under my tongue at bedtime, and if I wake overnight, I take another 2 or 3 drops, and I just go back to sleep. It's incredible. Whereas previously I was waking at like 2 to 3 a.m. and not going back to sleep. It was doing my head in, even if I went to sleep late. And by the way, if you go to sleep after 10 o'clock, your cortisol starts to spike and it's more and more difficult to get to sleep. So going to bed earlier, like 9:30, really, really helps. Small amounts during the day, like I just have a drop or 2 under my tongue throughout the day, and it keeps me regulated, present, and clear. This is not sedating. It actually, like, you're there, you're alert, you're focused while being deeply regulated. Freaking incredible product, absolutely obsessed. Comes in soft gels as well, so you can take 2 capsules morning and night. Yeah, bloody amazing. This is our other sleep support, and we also have things like valerian oil, vetiver oil, cedarwood, juniper berry, the lavender pea sleep stick. But this soft gel, this supplement, absolutely amazing. It supports the nervous system and sleep, which are central to healthy cortisol regulation. Key ingredients: lavender promotes relaxation and improves sleep quality. Tart cherry is your natural source of melatonin. Synthetic forms of melatonin are not good for your body, not good for your hormones, not good for your health. So tart cherry is the natural version. L-theanine, this is massive. Like one of my coaches was telling me to make sure that I take L-theanine the other day to increase GABA, which is the brain's main calming neurotransmitter, and supports alpha brain waves, helping quiet fight or flight while maintaining calm, focus, and mental clarity. Chamomile, passion flower, and lemon balm, traditional nerve vines that support nervous system ease and emotional calm. So rather than forcing cortisol down, this formula helps the body return to its natural rhythm. Calm at night, alert in the morning. It's not a sedative, it's not habit forming, you don't feel like shit the next day. It's just gentle support for the body's own ability to self-regulate. This is really important. I was on the phone to Jackie this morning. Jackie is one of my incredible blue diamond leaders in my doTERRA business, by the way. I've worked with Jackie for over 11 years now. She's 58 years old. She loves and uses the MetaPower, the lifelong vitality supplements, which we haven't even covered tonight because there's not enough time. She's incredible. And I rang her up. I was like, yo, Jackie, like, I'm obviously not like perimenopausal, menopausal. Talk to me about what's crucial at this time. And she was talking about like being the queen and like listening, tuning into your body. And you cannot get away with people pleasing and having piss poor boundaries at this stage. It just does not work. So learning to say no, reducing emotional and cognitive stress. Cortisol rises when you feel rushed, pressured, unsafe, over-responsible, like you can't switch off. Powerful shifts that you can practice: better boundaries, saying no more often, dropping perfectionism, letting go of urgency culture, reframing pressure into choice. And also, I want to encourage you guys all to do this with me. Throw out the scale. The scale tells you almost nothing about your health. It can't measure fat versus muscle, blood glucose regulation, hormone balance, nervous system safety, strength, energy, or resilience. Healthy bodies come in many sizes, and as you build muscle and lose fat, the number on the scale may stay the same, may go up, or may change very slowly. That doesn't mean nothing is working. This isn't about weight loss at all costs. It's about body recomposition, losing fat while gaining muscle. A stronger body is actually often heavier than a weak one. Like, I realized recently that the stronger and healthier I am, the thicker my thighs are. I'm not going for a freaking thigh gap so my legs break when I'm old. I'm going for strong, vital, healthy. So yeah, you guys want to throw out your scales with me? I'm done with that shit, right? Let's measure what actually matters. Real progress looks like feeling stronger and more capable, more stable energy and mood, fewer cravings and less food noise, better sleep and recovery, clothes that fit differently, a calmer, more regulated nervous system. These are signs your body is healing and recomposing, not failing. When the body feels well-fed, regulated, safe, supported, fat loss happens naturally, not forcefully. Support the process, build muscle, regulate blood sugar, create safety, and the body will follow. So if you'd like extra support, the MetaPower bundle provides ongoing foundational support for blood sugar, metabolism, stress, and nervous system regulation. I've personally used MetaPower Advantage for years and don't plan on stopping ever because of the steady support it gives my health. It's my daily non-negotiable. This is really, really important, guys, super important. If someone other than me invited you to this masterclass, please order through them so we can support the people building aligned businesses in this space. So important. Like, it means so much to us as small business owners when we invite someone to something or we share something with someone and they make an order through us. Maybe that's that person's like first ever order in their brand new business. And like the dance that we do, the celebration, the joy when our businesses are supported by the people we connect with, it means so much to us. So please go back to that person. If you found out about this masterclass through me, you can order through that link. I'll drop it in the chat soon. And my gift, if you purchase a MetaPower bundle within 24 hours through anyone, I will create a free personalized plan for you. So this is open to anyone, any team, including people in my team. Just send me a screenshot of your order, go to the person that invited you, order through them, and you'll also receive support from the person you purchase through, of course. Ask them for a one-on-one wellness consult. And if you don't purchase, that's totally okay. Just apply what you've learned and your body will still respond. I'm gonna stop screen sharing and get in the chat. I just wanted to smash through the content because I know the chat was going off. I was like, get the content done, we're over time, but I had a lot to share with you guys. It's not like a simple, a simple solution, it's nuanced. So is this even working? It's like kind of frozen. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yes, Jackie said the MetaPower Assist, the one with berberine and stuff, can be taken with each meal, not just with your largest meal, to help regulate healthy sugar response. Eating enough creates safety. Boom. That's what Deb said. Yes. Fried banana in butter. Freaking delicious. Ryan and I often have that with breakfast or as a dessert. So, so yummy. So sweet. And like great for you. Deb says my holistic doctor talks nonstop about berberine. Love that, Deb. It's amazing. Damo says shout out to blue light blocking glasses. Hell yeah. Got mine on right now. Exactly. We're on a screen right now. This cannot always be avoided. I'm not wearing any. I really should be. So thanks for that reminder. Deb, great tip. Turn your Wi-Fi and 5G off at night. 100%. Turn your phone off. Charge your phone in a different room. So if you wake up, you're not tempted to go on it. Turn the Wi-Fi off at night. Jess says Copaiba is the only thing that helps me sleep now. So good. Red rather than blue base lights after dark. 100%. We've got some little red lamp. We have a salt lamp in our bedroom and another red lamp. And you can do that throughout your house. Like, it's pretty cheap to go on the blue light blocker website and buy these little red lights. I love that you guys are onto this. You're just like sharing the best tips ever. Damo, Ninja Creamy has been a game changer for my healthy protein desserts. It's a powerful blender that can turn things like frozen fruit and yogurt into an ice cream consistently. Really tasty and healthy. You can use a Thermomix for that too, like getting frozen bananas, blending them in a Thermomix, eating that. Frozen mango, freaking delicious. I love that tip, Damo. Deb said, I didn't know that about tart, cherry, and melatonin. Yeah, the natural version of melatonin versus synthetic, not good for your hormones. Christina says supported with lavender pea stick too. So epic, so epic. Love the lavender pea stick. Jackie, it's one of my faves. Annette says, yes to what Jackie said about menopause. People pleasing has gone and boundaries are very strong. Hell yeah, Annette. Deb, I don't own scales. Yes, girl. Amazing. And she said it's nuanced because everybody and situation is different. 100%. There's so much nuance here, guys. Like, my biggest thing, start listening to and trusting your body. You know, we've been told the wrong thing by so many people and gaslit and shamed, and just like, no, let's tune in and listen to ourselves. I love that Jackie shared that with me on the call this morning. Christina, I love the lavender pea soft gels, definitely sleeping better. Brian said, we'd love to hear more from your experience. Taylor, only thing the scales are good for is to calculate optimum protein daily. Intake 1.6 to 1.8 grams per kilo of weight. 100%. Weigh your protein. Don't weigh yourself. Love that. She's talking about weighing your actual food. Jackie, do you want to unmute and share anything? Drop in how the Metapower supported you through perimenopause. Yeah, just felt to. Yeah,
Look, I know we're over time, Jess. That was fantastic. Perimeno journey is a pro-inflammatory response. You have covered all of the basics. What we really need to understand is we don't have the buffer like we do when we're younger. So we don't res we respond far too quickly, and then we are sluggish to bounce back to the homeostasis. So it really is about doubling down on your queenness, on really looking at that stop, that pause, which boundaries allow. And it's really about what does truly nourish me, body, mind, and spirit. Not just that dopamine hit right now, but in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years. We have that ability now to live long, healthy lives. So if you are in the age group or supporting people in my age group, ask them, how do they want to be at 88? What do they want to be lifting? Do they want to be lifting their great grandchildren or lifting their walking frame? And it's a great visual. And it's from that choice of what they want to lift, we just look at being more loving to ourselves. Brilliant presentation. At this end of our hormonal journey, it's the same as the philosophy that you have already shared tonight. It's just we have less buffer, so we have to be more discerning and know that if we don't make a difference, we will step into those lifestyle disorders, diseases, because we all know mid 50s to mid 60s is when we start seeing the increase in medication, the increase in doctor's visits, and we can't change it. That's just life, but we have a choice of how we live it.
100%. Thank you so much for sharing, Jackie. I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation. I put so much into
It
this,
was
like
brilliant, absolutely
months of
brilliant.
research. Thank you.
Yeah. But I will say from my menopause journey, I didn't recognize October. When did we start taking it? 2023 was when it was released in the States.
Uh, Metapower, I think it was 21.
Was it 21? I
October
did
21,
not
yeah.
recognize myself in the mirror at all. What the Metapower range has given me, the full range, is recognizing myself in the mirror and feeling 30 again in every aspect of my
100%.
cells.
I mean, you just look so vibrant and healthy. It is, yeah, it's incredible what the Metapower products and obviously the choices that you make for your health have done for you. Like, yeah, and I'm so grateful as well. Like the way that I felt pre Metapower,
Mm,
and post Metapower, it's just my daily non-negotiable. Like I can forget
yeah.
about taking other supplements and doing other things, but having that, I'm just like every day, every day, every day, incredible.
Mm,
Life changing. And I know that you take the lifelong vitality supplements too, Jackie, because nutrition is so critical. And for women that have been underfueled, underfed, calorie counting their whole life, they're missing out on nutrients. The soil's depleted. Like pairing the lifelong vitality with Metapower, with your cortisol lowering things, with whole foods, with strength training and walking, like we will be unstoppable. And that's not what they want. They don't want us strong and vibrant and healthy. They want us sick, weak, and depleted. So let's rebel. This is the rebellion. Metabolically healthy, savage, strong. men and women that are living independently until old age. Red School Wise Power, Taylor's sharing a book with us. Thank you all so much for your patience as well with going over time. Yeah, you were all so engaged, and I wanted to really respond to the conversation and not just be like on the PowerPoint. So we were just in conversation, flowing and vibing. Yeah, we're creating an absolute wellness movement together. Taylor says, thank you, women. You are modeling a different way, a thriving way, 100%. Jackie and I have been in business a long time, and we are about that wellness movement. We're about a healer in every home. We're about thriving together and partnering, this collaboration, this movement of being on this journey together to create healing and empowerment and thriving. And for those that want to, business success in alignment with your values as well. So if you're interested in the business opportunity, please speak to the person that invited you as well. Speak to the person that invited you to order the products. You can absolutely be a customer. You don't have to have anything to do with the business. No one's here breathing down your neck. But if you're interested and curious about how you can help others become empowered with natural solutions, we are so here to support you with that as well. I want to thank you all so much for your time, so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your engagement as well. Like, the feedback has lit me up even more. I'm fired up to stay on this journey to change more lives. So thank you all so much. I'm going to post a replay on YouTube. So if you had someone that couldn't make it live, you can share this replay. It'll be there on my YouTube channel forever. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, everyone who came along. Appreciate you so much. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jessie.
Bye.